Coming into the 2019 to 2020 NBA season, it was seen that the New Orleans Pelicans were really going to be taking this year to give the fans of not only the Pelicans, but really the entire NBA a preview of what's to come in the next few years. I mean, they were bringing in guys like Zion, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, even other young guys like Josh Hart, Jackson Hayes, and Nikhil Alexander Walker. They brought in a lot of guys who it wasn't expected that they were really going to be a contender, but they were expected to be very competitive, very young, a very fast-paced team. And it's not that they haven't lived up quite to those expectations. They've somewhat met those expectations, especially with what Zion and Brandon Ingram have been able to do. But this year is not really the year that needs to be looked at for the Pelicans. It's going to be next year that really is going to be that's going to be their claim to fame, is their next season. Because even if they make the playoffs this year, even if they're competitive as an 8 seed against LeBron and the Lakers, it's what they do this year is going to do nothing in compared to what they can do next year. And what I really truly believe they can do next year is be a top 3 seed in the West. Now, I know that's kind of hard to see. I mean, the West has teams, they've got both teams in LA. They've got possibly the Warriors returning to glory next season. You got the Rockets, you got the Nuggets, you got the Jazz. You even got competitive teams that don't make the playoffs, or that might not make the playoffs this year, like the Grizzlies. You got the Pelicans themselves. You got the Spurs. You got the Trailblazers. You got 10 to 12 teams in the West that are kind of competitive and playoff caliber teams. But I really think that this team, led by Zion and Brandon Ingram, I mean, Zion and Brandon Ingram are both averaging about 23, 24 points a game. Zion's getting about 7 rebounds. They've got their role players doing their jobs. I really think that, and it hurts to say this because I know he's probably a great human being, great coach, great everything, but I think a change needs to be made at the head coach position with Alvin Gentry because, I mean, it's been 5 seasons and he's had 1 winning record. For what he was brought in to be, he was brought in after Golden State had their amazing run. He was brought in during the middle of that. And it's kind of what happens in not only the NBA, but the NFL, NHL. I'm not sure about the NHL, but any sport, really. You see a team that has amazing success, a lot of the assistant coaches are going to get plucked from that staff and going to be seen as the guy that's going to lead the next franchise into what his previous franchise went through, looking to win finals, go to the championship, go to the playoffs every season, be contenders every single year. And, for Mike Budenholzer, it worked. After he left San Antonio, he did great things with both Atlanta, and he's doing even better things with Milwaukee. But it hasn't worked out for Alvin Gentry. And not only has it not worked out for Alvin Gentry, it hasn't worked out for Luke Walton. And Luke Walton had LeBron James on his team. So I think that should already spell his defeat. But Alvin Gentry has possibly the greatest young core that the NBA has seen in a while. And I'm putting this core above what Golden State had before, like right before they made their run, when Steph and Clay and Draymond were not really in their primes, but they were becoming great players. When, this team, when they are in their actual prime, like they're playing great now, but when they are in their actual prime, there's no telling what they're going to be able to do, both offensively and defensively. You got offensively guys like Brandon Ingram, Zion, even guys like Jackson Hayes, who's an athletic center who possibly could hit 1 to 2 threes a game. You got Derek Favors, who's done great things in the low post, and he could even, out to 15 feet, be a solid shooter. Even Jahlil Okafor has proved himself to be a great post threat, even though he's kind of past his time in terms of his play style. He still is solid and can get 6 to 8 points a game. And defensively, you got guys like Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, lots of guys who are able, even Jackson Hayes is still athletic and can block a couple shots a game. Zion has proved that he can be not really a rim protecting kind of guy, but he can swat a few shots as well. They've got a great mix of guys, a great mix of both young talent and a great mix of vets. They kind of got what they kind of have what Miami has right now with the mix. It's not really the same exact way, but they've got a solid mix of young guys as well as their vets. And, you know, with what J.J. Redick and Derek Favors and Jahlil Okafor, I would even say that Lonzo and Josh Hart and Brandon Ingram they're not really vets, but they're in their third and fourth seasons. They know what the NBA has to offer. They know what they have to do to get through a long season. I think at this point, this season, it's great if they make the playoffs. It's great if they are competitive as an 8 seed against whoever they play. It's probably going to be the Lakers, but whoever they play, it's great that they're going to be competitive. But next season, they could be a championship contender. Like, I really believe that. 50 to 60 wins next season is probably, I wouldn't even say that that's the ceiling. I would say that that's probably close to the top of what they could do, but they could really, really, really be super good next season. They're athletic. They play great defense. I don't really see any of them, other than maybe Brandon Ingram, being a little bit selfish with the ball. I think they're all great teammates. They know their position on the court. They know what they're supposed to do in terms of where they're supposed to be on the court, what they're supposed to do to make their team better. And guys like Zion, I think everyone loves Zion, playing with Zion, being a teammate. I think Zion's a great kid. And the best thing about Zion is they're not going to have to work him into an NBA shape in terms of building up his muscle, because he's possibly the strongest kid to come into the NBA since maybe Shaq, maybe LeBron. There's no one been this strong coming into the NBA. When you look at, obviously there's been guys that are bigger, but I would say Zion's probably stronger than them. I mean, Zion's doing things to NBA players, NBA veterans, that we haven't seen a rookie do in a long, long time. And I think not only fans of New Orleans needs to be excited about what's happening to the Pelicans, but fans of the NBA need to be very, 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 very excited for this team, because I think New Orleans is a team that everyone could get behind. I mean, their star player, if Zion becomes their star player, I think that's a star player that everyone in the league can love to root for. I mean, he's a great kid. He does amazing things on the basketball court, and he's not selfish. He's probably the most selfless person that is in the NBA. He's awesome. But that aside, he also is a great talent. He's athletic, he's strong, he's fast, maybe he can shoot. We don't really know, because he went 4 for 4 in one game and then has only shot 5 in the 12 games since then, but we don't really know about his shooting quite yet. But it doesn't matter, because he gives you 20 points a game in a throwback way. And it's almost demoralizing, because the way he does it, he imposes his will against anyone that he's defending. If it's a bigger guy, he's going to be faster than them. And even though he's faster than them, he's probably going to be as strong, possibly even stronger than the guy he's going against. And if it's a smaller guy guarding him, he's going to just bowl his way to the basket. The only times really that Zion's going to be able to be stopped is when you do stuff like what Milwaukee did, when you have Giannis guarding him and you have the trees in the paint with the Lopez twins. You also have other big guys like Ilyasova in there. He's getting game planned for 14 games into his NBA career. I don't think we've seen this in a long, long time. We haven't seen a team fully develop a game plan for a rookie 14 games into the season like this. Possibly even ever. I have never seen it. And it excites me. It really does. I'm NBA-wise, I don't really have a team I really put myself to. I live in Washington, so I would say I'm probably a Trailblazers fan. It's been a sucky season, but this Pelicans team really, it excites me, and it's a team that I would love to get behind. If I was someone that didn't really have a team to root for, I would get behind this Pelicans team because they're exciting, they're young, they maybe have one or two spots to fill roster-wise, but I think they're really, like, if they get a really, really good head coach that really knows what they're doing, I'm not saying Alvin Gentry is a bad coach. I'm not saying that Alvin Gentry doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just saying it hasn't worked for the first 5 years, and there's not really evidence to give to say that he could get it done 5 years from now. And he's got a really good group of talent, and he cannot waste that. The Pelicans cannot waste what they have right now because it's kind of different. It's a lot different from what is in the NBA right now. Star players in the NBA right now have to shoot. You know, even LeBron James has had to learn. He has to take a lot more threes, and he has to make them. There's not a star player around the NBA, a team star player, 99% of the time has to be almost a shooter, except for New Orleans. They have a guy that can dominate inside, and it could spell a great 10 to 12 year run for this Pelicans organization. And they do not need to ruin it by keeping a coach that has not gotten it done 5 years running. And again, I'm not saying Alvin Gentry is bad. I'm not saying he's whatever. I'm just saying if they don't believe that he can do it, they need to switch it up now and get the right coach. Don't hire some assistant from the Lakers because the Lakers are an ungodly talented team. Don't hire some assistant from Milwaukee because they have Giannis. That's the MVP. Hire someone that you truly believe in could take this team to the next level because they really are. I really think they're just the leadership away from being one of the best teams, not only in the West, but in the league. And I'm not saying that lightly. I really, truly believe that. So, yeah, that's going to do it for me. If you have anything that you think I missed in this video, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. I'm going to try to be putting out as much NBA and NFL related content as possible. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like button. If you dislike the video, make sure you hit the dislike button. Any feedback at this point really is appreciated. And if you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. See you later.